Hi girlies, what is up? Good morning. It's Tuesday at 11:38 a.m. I'm headed to the gym. Happy vlog. Really, I just wanted to pop on here and get a quick intro out of the way. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing for this vlog, but I think by the time you're watching this, obviously I have figured it out. Next week is gonna be my birthday week vlog, I think. No, I lied. It'll be 2 weeks from now. But I finally, after what it feels like forever, gotten into a routine that I really love here in Dallas and like have started meeting some new people. It's taken a month and a half, but we're getting our footing and our grounding in a new city, which is exciting and definitely something that I want to document because I know like as a young woman, post-college, trying to make friends in a new place, like it's difficult putting yourself out there and trying to be able to kind of find people that you can connect with and have similar interests with and have similar lifestyles to, especially being 24 in the city and being married, you know? But the funnest thing I wanted to update y'all about is I actually signed up for this app. It's called Time Left, but what it does is it matches you, like it sets you up on like a random dinner date with like 5 other people. I have a date tonight, technically. Isn't this kind of a crazy thing to do? I feel like I'm on New Girl or something. On the app, you download it and choose like the dinner and the night you want to go on the reservation, and you book it a week in advance, and then the night before it tells you the restaurant that you're going to. They make the reservations for you, and then it gives you some info about the people that you're meeting, right? So I know that it's me and 5 other girls and that we're all from the US, which is crazy because the first time I signed up, I ended up having to cancel, which was sad. Every single one of us was a different nationality. This time, we're all the same nationality, which is kind of crazy. Like, that's like 6 people. Like, you would think it would be kind of diverse, but it wasn't this time. Last time it really was, but I think that I'll continue going on these, and of course, it'll be different every single time. Tells you like what industry everybody works in. So like the service industry or tech or fitness or whatever. I don't know how it matches you, but you fill out this little, and this is like literally not sponsored by the way. This is just me just wanting to do something fun with my life. You fill out this little questionnaire whenever you first get on. On the questionnaire, you like answer things about yourself. Like what would your ideal like Saturday off be like? Or what's the biggest thing you want to accomplish in life? And I guess it like matches you or whatever depending on like some of the things you answer. I'm really excited. My first one is tonight. I got my restaurant last night. We're going to some place called Pie Tap. It's a pizza place. I've heard it's really good, and I'm really excited for that. That's at 7 tonight. I'm gonna get a tempo run in. It's 11:43. I'm gonna be there around 12. I already had a really well macro balanced breakfast, so I'm plenty fueled. Y'all know I pre-logged a little glass of Prosecco in so I can sip with the girlies when we get there. But fingers crossed, I have like big hopes for this, and I really am excited. So that's the vibes for tonight. I'll check in with y'all once we get this run out of the way. Okay guys, listen, we've made it to the date. It's 6:41. Our reservations are at 7. I'm scared. I don't know what is an appropriate time to go in because it's like, I don't even know if I'm parked in a spot I can park in, to be honest, but it's right back there, so I have like a 30-second walk. I'm kind of nervous. And the thing is, I've never been this nervous to go on a date with a boy in my entire life. But why am I nervous to go on dates with girls? 5 of them. I'm like, what do I even talk about? How do I make a good first impression? How do you be like, yeah, let's make a group chat? Or how do you walk away if it's weird and then not make a group chat if it's like not the vibe? I feel like expectations are to have a group chat, you know? Anyways, here's our little fit. This is just a Zara top with Zara jeans. That's all I wear is Zara. And the makeup is kind of eating though. The makeup is kind of eating, glowy vibes. Speaking of, I need to take a selfie. Hold on. Also, I should have peed before I left. I didn't do that. I am hungry though, and I'm gonna get a glass of wine. When's the appropriate time to get a glass of wine? Like, do I order at dinner? Do I be the first one to order a drink? Ew, the lighting is actually disgusting. Hello? It looks, literally, there's no color on this lighting at all. It looks good on the camera. This has to be so cringe to watch. Why is it white? I can't even filter it and make it look good. That's gonna have to do. If I don't get scarred, then I'll maybe wanna do it again. And I already paid for the month access on the app, so I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? It's 6:45. I think an appropriate time to walk in will maybe be like get out of my car at 6:55 and then maybe walk in at 6:56. Anybody else have social anxiety? Oh, here's my husband. Hello. What?
Call answer. Don't answer me like a business.
I just said hello.
Yeah, you said that like I was not your snookums.
Hey, Pookie.
Yeah, and what am I sitting doing?
I'm sitting in the car waiting to go in because I don't want to go in too early.
Is it 7:30?
7.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I met so many good friends.
I hope. What if they don't like me? Love you. Bye. He has no idea I was recording them. He will actually die. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna do my de-stress breathing like we do in Pilates, and then I'm gonna go in. It's 6:47. Wish me luck. I'll recap after. Happy Friday. I know the last time I talked to you, it was honestly crazy because it was how long ago? It was Tuesday night, right? Whenever I went to the dinner. The dinner went so good. I'm literally going to a happy hour with one of the girls tonight, period. And then we're going to Run Club on Saturday with another one of the girls. So it couldn't have been better. I'm super excited for this weekend. My in-laws are in town. We have plenty of things on the agenda. Hence why I'm up at 5:42 to go work out. Y'all, I finally got my club studio membership situated. So now I'm gonna have a place, a really nice gym to like film workouts in. So I'm going to film a leg day today. We're doing quads. Just to give you the rundown of kind of how things are going. My goals have shifted. So I got really lean. I'm happy with it. However, your girl does want some more muscle mass. So with that comes shifting my program a little bit. I'm gonna be doing more steady state cardio and less high intensity cardio. So I will be running less. I probably will continue training for a half marathon later this year, but right now for the next couple of months, just over this season, I definitely want to focus on muscle gain and staying lean in the process. I did a lot of hard work to get to this cut, but I know I'm going to be happier with more muscle on my frame, especially in my lower body, because I did, when running, like when training for my halves and stuff like that, I did lose leg muscle. And so I definitely want to build that back up and make sure that I'm as strong as I once was. And I'm excited to shift into this new season because training for leg strength is like honestly my favorite thing ever. So we're going to be hitting 3 lower body days a week, 1 upper body, 1 Pilates, and then Run Club on the weekend. Low intensity Stairmaster as far as like steady state for my heart rate. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Took time to kind of reroute a new program. So I'm going to be doing Run Club more so for the social aspect of it. Still kind of building off of the foundations as far as a high protein, high volume diet to be able to stay lean, but I'm definitely going to be fueling for muscle gain in the process. We have an exciting busy day ahead of us, so just wanted to check in. I had to finish client check-ins and everything today, but let's get into it, girlies. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Okay, I know we've already talked. Have we? Did I talk to you this morning? Y'all know what time it is. Well, you don't, but I'm about to tell you. It's Q&A time while I eat my lunch because I'm a little bit pressed for time. I have about an hour. But y'all have to see this lunch. It's my iconic sweet potato, caramelized onion, cottage cheese bowl with sugar-free syrup. The literal most goated meal in the entire world, I promise you that. I swear on my life, I have never felt so loved by a community. I posted that I was struggling the other day on Instagram, and the amount of you guys that reached out to me and talked to me about your struggles and talked to me about how I've maybe helped you, or how my recipes have been inspiring, or how my journey has helped you conquer your relationship with food. Like, there's so many things that y'all brought up to me that made me realize, like, okay, the things I'm doing and the content that I'm putting out there actually is making a difference for people, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. And so the fact that that's been so apparent to me has seriously changed the trajectory of my week, because the beginning of this week was really hard for me. Now I finally feel like I'm getting my footing in a new city, my footing when it comes to just my platforms and connecting with my audience, and it really just feels like a pivoting point in my mindset where I really kind of got through a really hard mental period. That straight was because of you guys, and I'm so thankful. So anything that I can do to help obviously is top of my priority list. So that brought to mind instantly that I wanted to do a Q&A, because I know my Q&As a lot of times really help you guys kind of find perspective, or just help you with specifically the things that you're needing. So many freaking questions on Instagram, on my stories, like, has been the most questions I've ever got, which makes me so happy because I love the opportunity to help. Pause for a sweet potato break. I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So just starting off from the top, I'm gonna answer as many as I possibly can. When not tracking, how do you gauge how often it's okay to have a treat, like once a week? I don't feel like I'm as equipped to answer this question, only because I personally don't go that long without not tracking. It's personal preference, of course, but like, it's my job. Fitness is my job. Not to mention, I just love calorie counting. I love macro counting. It helps me really be able to reach physical goals, and I have such a healthy relationship with it that for me, it's just a habit at this point. It's just really worked well into my routine that I don't really think twice about it. The only time I go like long periods without tracking is like during vacation. And so on vacation, I'm not restricting myself. You know, I'm like, whenever it comes up and the opportunity that I want to treat, or there's a croissant that I want to try, or a cookie that I want to try, or there's a pasta dish I want to have, like, I allow myself to have those things. I think macro counting has created a really healthy relationship with food for me, because I can easily be flexible with myself and fit in things that I love. And then whenever I go on vacation, I'll just intuitively eat and eat the things that make me feel good, and then add in the things that I want to try and enjoy in moderation. So I don't think I'm the best person to ask. An intuitive eating coach probably would be better to ask that question to. I've been tracking calories for 30 days and haven't lost any weight. Suggestion, question mark. The act of tracking is not gonna ensure that you lose weight. What's gonna ensure that you lose weight is a calorie deficit. So number one, you're either not tracking consistently enough. If you are putting your body in a calorie deficit for 30 days, you will drop on the scale, period. There's no question about that. Pretty much all of my clients, when they execute the deficit that I give them, drop on the scale first week, majority of the time, almost all the time, first week and a half. So with that being said, evaluate your consistency and your honesty. You may just not have the knowledge to be tracking properly. I would find the things that are knocking your consistency off, whether that be the weekends you're not tracking, you haven't tracked all 30 days, whether that be maybe you're eating out a lot and you can't gauge how many calories are in things and you don't have the knowledge to be able to do that accurately yet, so it's really throwing you out of a deficit when you think you're in one, or your calorie target is just off and you actually need to drop your calories lower than you have them set, and then go from there. So you need to fix that issue. There's an issue with you not tracking properly, regardless of what it is, because if you were tracking properly and intaking in a deficit, you would lose weight. So you gotta be honest with yourself and you gotta find where that error is. How do other people in your life view your healthy lifestyle? I'm so beyond blessed to have such a good support system in my life. My husband is a personal trainer, so he went through his own journey of counting macros and building muscle and changing his body and all of that way before we were ever together, so he gets it. We never don't do things because of me, right? Like, I don't hold people around me back from doing and enjoying things just because maybe I'm not doing it that day or I'm not taking part. So it really doesn't affect their lives. They're really, really supportive always. And I will be as flexible as possible with my plan to be able to experience those things with them. My mom is my biggest supporter. I mean, she's seen obviously my results, and you know, she's always learning from me and, you know, trying to pick up healthy habits for me as well. So she always encourages that. I've had friends in the past who aren't as supportive or encouraging. I really just never let that stop me, because I knew I had goals that I wanted and I wasn't gonna apologize for them, and I wasn't doing anything that affected anybody else negatively. If I was pushing my lifestyle on people, that would be one thing, but I never do. I answer questions and I provide support whenever the people around me need help, but I never push certain activities on them or certain behaviors that are part of my life just because I think that they're the best way that I can live doesn't mean that they're the best for everybody else. Everybody around me is really supportive and I'm very thankful for that. Do you prefer reformer Pilates or mat Pilates? Reformer, easy. I went to a mat Pilates class at Equinox, and I need to go to probably an actual heated studio with challenging mat Pilates classes, and I've had a challenging mat Pilates like session before, but reformer is just another level, and I think it's really fun being able to add like a lot of resistance to my workouts as well, so that I can progressive overload them in a Pilates studio too. So I definitely think reformer is just more of an event and it feels like more of a vibe to me. I do like mat. If I do mat, I would way prefer it heated though. Reformer, I'm like, I can get a killer workout in even if it's not heated. Oh my gosh, I freaking love this comment. Fave yogurt bowl flavor. I would say my favorite yogurt bowl flavor probably is, probably my Biscoff one. Faye with sugar-free cheesecake jelly mix, Legion salted caramel protein powder mixed in, salted caramel twisted dough on top, a Biscoff cream cookie crumbled on top with maple syrup, white chocolate chips, and blueberries. It is an elite combo. I do have a video of that up as well, actually on my YouTube, I think. But I have a version of it up on my TikTok too, so you can go try it out if you want to see the exact combination. While being in a job where you think about food constantly, how do you control food noise? This is a hard one because I'm not in a job where I think about food constantly. Most of my jobs have always been pretty busy, so I find that when I'm working, I've had a 9 to 5, but most of my jobs have not been a 9 to 5. And so it's kind of hard to answer that question because I don't feel like for me that food noise ever came from work. I feel like it came from other bad mindset patterns that I had. Food noise for me usually was quieted during work just because when I'm busy, that's like when I experience food noise the least, or when I did in the past, when I was working out or when I was at work or when I was consumed with something. I wasn't really thinking about food. Whereas whenever I was bored or didn't have a lot to do in my day, or you know, those times where your mind is really quiet, like in bed at night and stuff, that's when I more so dealt with food noise. I would probably need more clarification on the question, but I think controlling food noise comes down to really making sure that you're focusing on fueling your body with protein and fiber dense meals. I used to be a snacker and that's when my food noise was the worst, and now you'll see like throughout my what I eat in a day is like I usually have like one snack a day because my meals are so protein dense that I can go 5 hours in between meals without getting hungry again. And I'm not even really thinking about food because I'm not hungry because I'm so full, and that fullness lasts. Even starting out maybe during the day whenever you realize your food noise is the worst, implementing a meal there that's like minimum 40 grams of protein, maybe even shoot for 50, will make a huge difference when it comes to quietening that. Y'all, I'm being so for real. I go through like a bottle a week minimum. Would you ever be interested in expanding your coaching services to hire other coaches? Yes, I would. I just don't know the picture of what that would look like yet. I really, really value keeping the personal aspect of my coaching as ingrained in my program as possible. And that's really important to me, which is why I haven't done what a lot of other coaches do, which there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, the purpose out of what I do comes from having constant connection with my clients and being able to support them personally. Scaling up too far away from that, I think sometimes would take that away, which is sometimes what I fear as far as like, I want to be the person who's onboarding my clients. I want to be the person who is walking my clients through mindset shifts and who has contact with them every week and who they feel like they can reach out to with any questions. And because I do think that when people want to sign up for coaching with me, if I've really resonated with them, that personal connection is super important to people. So I don't know what that would look like, and it definitely would take time for me to sit down and think about it before it was something that I would move too fast into. What are your rest periods like, and how often do you change them during your workout? In my resistance training, I usually rest for about like 60 to 90 seconds in between sets. If it's like an isolation workout, like a leg extension, usually 60. If it's a compound workout, I'm definitely resting 90 seconds minimum, sometimes 2 minutes, to allow my body to be able to lift to its fullest potential the next set after that. Honestly, I don't really change rest time that much during my workout unless like I'm super gassed and I know I honestly just listen to my body for rest time. Like, sometimes I have a timer, but most of the time I really just listen to when I'm ready for my next set, when I've caught my breath, and when my muscles feel like they can produce, lift heavy, and repeat that process in the next set again. Do you have any plans of any phases outside of maintenance for the future? This is such a good question, and I haven't dove in deep into it on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that yet, but technically right now I am focusing a little bit more on muscle gain. What my goals look like for the future, I have slightly increased my calories. Right now I'm about 700 calories higher than I was. I've also cut my cardio down, so I'm not running as much and I'm not expending as many calories, therefore I didn't have to raise my calories as much to be in somewhat of a slight surplus. It's not a big surplus, and I don't even have enough data to tell me if I'm putting my body in a surplus yet. But the goal right now with where my calories are set is a minimum hitting 140 grams of protein a day. Most of the time it's 160, sometimes it's 170, 180, to be able to put my body in the best position to gain lower body muscle. So I've scaled back my running, and this is the first week that I've done this, so I haven't even talked about it much just because I'm just now shifting into these goals and kind of getting my footing on exactly what I want to do with nutrition aligned with exercise. My exercise will be 3 lower body strength training sessions a week, 1 upper body strength training session, full upper body, 1 Pilates class, heated. I'm gonna be doing Run Club on Saturdays, so I'll be doing 30 minutes of either Stairmaster moderate intensity with a heart rate target of around 70% of my VO2 max. I'm gonna be doing 30 minutes on either the stairs at that level or 30 minutes on an incline walk at that level after every leg day session as of now, and after my upper body session. And then I don't really know what I'm gonna do in my Pilates yet, but I'll have 1 rest day. That's kind of what my journey looks like right now, and I'm eating a good amount of calories and a good amount of protein. Goal is to maintain as much fat loss as possible, put on lean muscle mass even if it takes slightly longer than it would if I were to do a large calorie surplus. Last one for right now, so I can smash this lunch and go get on my next client call. Katie asked, how did you know it's time to start your own business? I knew this for a while. I always knew that I wanted to have a platform of some sort to share my story and to help women. I didn't know exactly how, and I didn't know what. Basically what happened is my first corporate job post-grad got pushed off and delayed by 2, almost 3 months because of corporate layoff. And so when that happened, I kind of was screwed, and I was like, well, I've already signed the lease. Like, I already have this whole life in place. I got to figure out something to do to make money in the meantime. So I started my virtual coaching business then, and at that point it was kind of just a, hey, I want to make some money to support my life right now until I don't have to stress about it anymore. And then I ended up loving the process of like working on something that solely benefited me and the people that I was trying to help, and being able to freely make decisions for myself and support myself independently and never feel like there was a limit on what I could achieve or accomplish. And that fueled me and fills me with so much purpose. Like, it seriously is the best thing I've ever done. And because I had a little taste of that when I started my corporate job, I knew it was not where I was meant to be or what I was called to be doing. And that's when I decided to take the leap and build my platform. I was there for 3 weeks. I pulled the plug on that super fast because I hated it and had some family stuff going on, and it just wasn't the best time for me to, you know, be in that situation. And so I was done there, and I put my all into my business because I was like, I want to bet on myself, and if it doesn't work, then whatever. I can always go back to a corporate life, but I'm always going to wonder what if. I seriously haven't stopped since. Getting that small taste of like being able to build something for myself and how accomplished I felt because of that, I was never turning back after that because it's addicting and so fulfilling. Not to mention, like, the work I get to do is so fulfilling as well that I just felt like I have a reason to wake up and put my best foot forward every single day. That isn't just about me, and that means a lot to me. Yeah. Okay, I don't have time to get through the rest, but we have so many more questions, so I will make sure and pop on tomorrow at some point so that we can go over them too. Post-run club. Hi. Okay, checking back in. This lighting is horrible because I'm in a parking garage. I just got to run club. It is 8:08 on Saturday morning. We're doing the 3 mile today. So I'm excited to get it over with, and I think we're gonna get coffee after, so it's gonna be a vibe. I'm gonna finish up the Q&A a little bit later. Last night was so fun. We went on such a cute little happy hour and got some skinny margs. My skinny margs were fire. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show y'all a picture. Let me see if I have one. Here's the sushi I got. I don't know if you can see that. There's the sushi I got. It was like a it was an Alaskan roll, and my husband ate the other one, but it was so good. And I ate 2 ginger salads for dinner, and then I had 2 skinny margs with that as well. Y'all, an Alaskan roll will get me every single time. The smoked salmon on top. So good. I'm just sipping on. I'm like tired today. I don't know why. I literally got 8 hours of sleep. But I had half an Alani, y'all. I really like the Hawaiian slush, or the Hawaiian shaved ice, which is weird because normally I don't like new flavors, but this one is actually really good. And then I'm drinking my electrolytes. I need to order some creatine. I was online shopping this morning while I was laying in bed, and I was like, I need to buy myself a birthday present. I bought, or I haven't bought yet, but I added a bunch of stuff into my cart, and I'm excited. I have like $350 worth of activewear in my cart, so I think your girl is probably gonna be spending some cash for her birthday. But of course I'll do a haul when everything gets in. Okay, wish me luck on the run. Hi my beautiful people. Okay, we're post-run club. It's honestly, please ignore these sweat stains. These are like permanently etched into this shirt, so we're just gonna have to ignore that for now. My lips like still look blue. I don't know why. I'm about to make lunch. It's 1:17 on a Saturday. It's time that we get into the last questions of our Q&A. And I'm so excited because there are plenty to dive into. However, I'm also gonna be cooking my lunch while I answer some of these. I'm gonna be making my ground beef bowl lunch anyways, and y'all have already seen me make it a million times, so like, I don't really need to explain it. What are your long-term goals / dreams? Where do you want your business to be in 10 years? This is so hard for me because I seriously like didn't even think that my business would be to the point where it's at now. And so trying to think of what I want to see happen in 10 years is absolutely crazy. My backup has, like my backup job, or my first initial job, right, I was eventually gonna get my master's in English and teach at a college and like work on becoming an author and publishing. I could see my business going more that route into writing, becoming an author, having more of a platform, maybe doing like speaking and stuff like that. But I really don't know. I'm really happy with where my business is at right now, and so thinking about like 10 years from now just kind of seems honestly impossible at this point. So I'll have to get back to you on that one whenever I figure it out. We'll be running a half marathon while in a deficit. What should a week of macros look like? Thanks. Okay, this is one of those questions where it's like macros are different for everyone, so it really, I can't give you a standard answer. And since I'm not your coach and I don't have anything to do with your training program or know what your protocol is, and it's really hard for me to kind of cut and dry, be like, oh, this is what you should do. But I would make sure, honestly, I wouldn't, if you're in a deficit for fat loss right now, I would probably during the week leading up to your half, maybe go closer to maintenance. Just because when you're training, if you're really worried about your pace and time and performing well, you're not gonna perform your best in a deficit. That's just obvious. And you don't wanna be in too steep of a deficit because that can be dangerous territory for you getting injured, which I wouldn't ever want that to happen to you. So as far as macros go, on the day of or the night before, I would definitely do some sort of carb loading. So Maybe this means that you do like 50% carbs the night before, but that's kind of like all the specifics I could give you when it comes down to like what your macro split should look like. But personally for me, like I would at least probably work on just maintenance calories, or you know, minimum maintenance calories going into your half. You want to perform your best, of course, and you just don't want to jeopardize that in a small period of time when you can easily kind of more so focus on your fat loss goals and maintaining your deficit when you get done, because I mean, it's like a week of your life, right? So that's honestly what I would recommend, and it's just nice, you know, focusing on fueling your body for performance during that time rather than focusing on just aesthetics. Okay, next question while my potato is cooking. Do you feel like volume eating distorts your idea of portions for higher cal foods? I love you. I think that it's important when you're volume eating at home, right, to also have times throughout your journey where you're focusing on practicing portion control if you're being in a deficit, just so that those tools carry over to maintenance too. Whenever I'm in a deficit, I like to kind of toggle on and off those tactics. So like at home, I'm not volume eating like those 1 calorie meringues so that I can eat 560 of them for 500 calories. Like that's not really the goal. The goal is more so to focus on high volume foods to make up your diet that promotes satiety, like foods with high protein and high fiber. So more so think of volume eating as using lower calorie alternatives, being able to like eat a good amount of food because you have whole foods, and then listening to your body when you're full, rather than overeating to the point of where it's like, yeah, it's healthy food, but you're overeating so much volume that you're sick. That's never the goal. So if you're not doing that, you're gonna be okay when it comes to being able to portion control, especially if you practice portion control in times like social settings and stuff like that, whenever you go out and you're trying to maintain a deficit as well. Does a large calorie deficit hurt your metabolism? This is kind of case by case basis. Your metabolism is going to down regulate if you lose a bunch of weight. So like think about somebody who has like weight loss surgery, for example, where they can only intake like 800 calories starting out. They're gonna drastically drop weight really quickly, which is obviously gonna take their BMR, their basal metabolic rate, where it used to be really high, it's gonna take it really low, but that's because you're a way smaller human, not because your metabolism is just screwed. There are certain things and certain conditions that yes, do cause like a downregulated metabolism, or just in comparison to someone who doesn't have those conditions, like think PCOS, right? A lot of people with PCOS struggle with a slower metabolism, and so that's something that can be of concern if you do have conditions like that. Your metabolism is gonna adapt as you lose weight over time because you're just smaller and your body doesn't need as much energy. Best tips for distraction on cardio. Oh my gosh, I listen to podcasts, that's all I do. The Andrew Huberman podcast, if you're into like nutrition and fitness, is amazing. He's so knowledgeable and I love learning from him. Or I'll do my fun girly podcasts like Call Her Daddy and Just Trish and Canceled, The Toast. I really try to reserve my podcast for cardio a lot of times. So like even if it comes out that day and I need something to watch, I'll try to like wait until I have a cardio session just so I have like episodes stacked up. Or find you a show that you only watch while you're on the treadmill. How do I get out of the screw it mindset? Ooh, girl, this one's hard. You really have to figure out what pushes you to those circumstances. Sorry for my microwave screaming in the background. When you get into the screw it mindset, it really is just, one, you don't know how things work, and so you're not actually looking at it from a logical perspective to make your calorie deficit make sense. A lot of times people get in the screw it mentality because they think one thing is gonna ruin their progress. So it's like, oh, you eat half a pastry and you're like, well, I already messed up. When in reality, maybe that's 100 calories over your deficit. When if you push yourself to the screw it mentality and you eat 1,000 calories over your deficit, that's obviously setting you way further back. So it's always like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back is still 1 step forward mentality. So if you have 3 really strong days in your deficit and then you have 1 day at maintenance, that's not even a step backwards, you're just pausing in your journey. If you have 3 really strong days in a 500 calorie deficit and then you eat 1,000 calories over your deficit 1 day, yeah, that's 1 day backwards, but that's still 2 days forward. So you have to stop letting yourself get in your own head and tell yourself that things are a lot more impactful in the negative direction than they are, because whenever you convince yourself that eating 1 cookie is ruining all of your progress, it's not the 1 cookie that ruins all your progress. It's the binge eating 3,000 calories over your deficit number that ruins your progress. And so the difference between those 2 things is your mindset pushing you to that point because you've convinced yourself of a lie. You have to learn how to be honest and transparent with yourself, and that's why data is so important, because you can lean on that rather than convincing yourself that something is happening when it's not. So I would say the biggest thing that helped me get out of a screw it mentality was actually tracking my data and having the numbers and not brainwashing myself to believe lies, because I used to do that all the time and it got me nowhere. How can I utilize my Oura Ring to help me lose weight? Ooh, this is a good one. So your Oura Ring isn't naturally gonna be the most accurate when it comes down to calorie burn, but You can use it to track steps, which is a really helpful tool to be able to make sure you're hitting a, average step count. You can use it to track your sleep. Sleep is really important for recovery. So when you're recovering faster and better, you get more out of your workouts, which obviously opts for better results when it comes to fat loss, muscle gain, body recomp, weight loss, whatever it is. When your body has time to recover and not be as stressed out, your results are just gonna be better. So I would use it to track your sleep quality and try to improve that. And also your step count is gonna be huge. So use it to track your step count. I wouldn't rely on it for calorie burn as much, but you can obviously get a good idea of what like your general activity levels look like, which is really helpful for making changes week to week if you do need to increase your activity and make sure you hit certain metrics. But I wouldn't pay attention to the calorie burn portion because it's not the most accurate. What are your top 5 must-dos in your everyday routine to keep you on track for success? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take this as a question not only regarding health and fitness, but also just like productivity, my job, running a business, just being successful all around. I would say the very first one is not snoozing my alarm. I never snooze my alarm. There are very small cases where I do, because if I need extra sleep, I'll make that decision the night before and I'll set my alarm for a time that I know I'm going to be able to get things done, and then I'm not gonna be stressed out throughout the day. And then I'm gonna have time to be able to wake up in the morning and not be rushing around like a lunatic, because that obviously starts your day off really stressfully, and that is not the vibe. A well-rounded, healthy breakfast that makes me feel good is always my top priority. Sometimes this is before the gym if I go later in the day, sometimes it's after, but I usually always try to start like my first meal of the day off with a meal that sets me up to hit my macros for the day as well, which means like really trying to get a high protein count. Right now that also means like kind of choosing if like later in the night I'm gonna have a higher fat meal. Sometimes I'll go higher carbs for breakfast and vice versa. Just kind of making sure I'm really setting myself up for success to stay full and satisfied, to fuel for my workouts, and to hit my macros by the end of the day, and that all starts with breakfast. Number 3 is a workout, of course. Hitting my workout split or whatever's on my regimen for that day and doing it when I mapped out the night before. So one thing that I really do that keeps me really successful is every night before I go to bed, I'll basically schedule out my day the next day. So I'll go in my notes app, I'll write the next morning on top, I'll be like Friday, and then I'll put like, wake up, shower, high protein breakfast, first work call, this meeting, gym. So I like line out my whole day so that during the day, I'm not thinking, because there's so many moving parts during the day, I don't want to think about what I have to do next. I would rather it just be in front of me and be like, okay, I just checked off one box, next box is this, and then go and do that thing. So I can more so like have a template and structure of these are the things I must do at these times, and then whatever free time I find in between breakfast and when I film my first video, or this meeting and when I had to onboard some new clients, then I'll work on maybe that list of like side to do stuff that isn't like time sensitive. 4th one I would say is mental work. So a lot of times for me, this is really taking the time to sit down and pray and clear my mind and just kind of relieve my own anxiety. Sometimes I feel like we get caught in the idea that nothing is in our control and that we can't clear our mental space, but we actually have so much power over that. And so a lot of times I find myself throughout the day, like when I do feel overwhelmed, sitting down and like reminding myself and doing positive self-talk, like really talking to God about how I'm feeling, asking him to relieve my anxiety, asking him to help me refocus, and just like, remind myself of the things that matter and that are important, and remind myself how strong I am and how capable I am. Really, at least some point in the day, giving yourself the positive self-love that you do need to be able to feel, because we all need that. And then the last thing I would say is definitely quality time with my husband. We don't have the most every single day, but most days we're either gonna make dinner together, we're going to go to the store together. Y'all, look how good this is looking. We're gonna watch a show together, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk when we eat dinner together, and being able to kind of really talk to him about how my day went, get the recap on his day, talk about our goals, talk about the things we need to pray for each other about. That is gonna fill up my cup every single time, and a lot of times it'll be me asking him for advice or asking him what he thinks about something, getting his opinions on how I feel in my head. Sometimes it helps to have like an objective perspective, bringing us back down to earth and reality, and like he is such a grounding source for me. So having somebody in your life like that provides you with that sense of calmness, I think is so necessary for success, so that you can have your cup filled up and be able to give back to the people around you. Oh my gosh, I forgot to caramelize my onions. I hate myself. This is supposed to be the first thing I freaking do because it takes the longest, so now my food's gonna take way longer, so that's amazing. But yeah, those would be my 5 things. That was a really, really nice question, and I honestly loved reflecting on that, so thank you. Now realizing I'm not gonna be able to answer all of these questions, so I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna do my absolute best. What is a normal amount of weight to fluctuate between going from a cut to maintenance? This is honestly different for everyone depending on how your body reacts. If you reverse diet, I would say majority of the time it's just a couple of pounds. I mean, your body, when you're at maintenance and you're eating more food, is gonna hold more water weight most of the time, and you just have more food in your system, obviously, because I mean, think about it, it's like you're not eating 1,500 calories a day, you're eating 2,100, and that's just more food in your body. When you have more food in your body, you're gonna weigh a little bit more, but yeah, I would just say a couple pounds is normal. Let me start these freaking onions. Have y'all been looking for a new church home since the move? We have. We've been to multiple churches. We visited the Social, which we really did like. I would definitely go back, but we wanted to explore different areas. We've only been to about 4 different services since we moved. We did go to Watermark. I think Watermark is a little bit too big for me, just out of personal preference. And like, the church was amazing, the messages were amazing, the people we met were amazing. But just out of my own preference, I like something a bit smaller. Anyways, so church-wise, I think we actually have found, so we used to go to Life Church in Northwest Arkansas before we moved. And I didn't even know that there was a Life Church in McKinney, Texas, which is like 20 minutes. It's like 25-minute drive from where we live. But it honestly worked out perfectly because we also love HEB, which is a 25-minute drive, and it's like right around that area. And so now, it's like easy to, on a Sunday, drive the 25 minutes to church at Live Church and then get to go to HEB after and kind of knock out all the birds with one stone. And I still count my calories every single day. I'm a macro counting queen, and I honestly don't think I will ever stop. I take breaks sometimes, you know, when my life needs it, like if I'm going on vacation, or if it's just easier for me to like intuitively eat in certain situations if I don't have like a strict cutting goal. Calorie counting and macro counting just is so ingrained in my life now, and it's so easy for me to be able to do. I honestly really enjoy doing it, and I love doing it, and if I ever don't feel that way, then if I want to stop, I will. I'm both. I count my calories and macros, but I also try to incorporate as much of healthy ingredients within those calories and macros as well. If y'all want to know what last minute hit your macros looks like, we just decided, I got ready in, for real, 15 minutes. We just decided we're gonna go to happy hour and then we're gonna go to the movies and see Superman. And I had my whole day planned out macros wise, and I was like, screw it. So I just made a crap ton of real good chicken tenders with some sugar-free barbecue sauce and some mustard, and that's what we're eating for dinner before we go get some drinks. Life hack. Okay guys, so that is basically it. I hope you loved this Q&A little vlog scenario. It was super fun to film this, and I really love being able to help and get to answer your questions in any way possible. I know that a fitness journey, a weight loss journey, a confidence journey in general across time can be so difficult, but you are so capable. Each day is an opportunity to prove yourself capable and to continue moving in the right direction, and you can do it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, click that button. I'll see you in next week's video. I post every single Monday. My Instagram and TikTok are linked below as well, so that you can check those out. And always remember that first and foremost, my job as a fitness coach to help women find their confidence again and really help move you in the right direction when it comes to learning how to count macros, learning how to fuel your body, learning how to exercise appropriately for your goals, and having the mindset help along with that and the accountability to be able to really pursue whatever physical goals that you want as well. So if you're struggling with that and you feel like you need some assistance or just some structure, fill out the permanent weight loss coaching program below. I would love to have you. And once you fill that application out, I will reach out to you and we'll kind of discuss how we can get you started and all the next steps. Okay, thanks for watching guys. Love you. Bye.